Greetings, Divine Radiance. I am Nikila Asha of Ashworth Scott Life Sculpting. I am a divine interpreter interpreting messages and methods from the divine that empower you to create and live an abundant life. So today, first of all, I'm in my mobile office, as you can see. I was inspired to go on and do this video for you to share a message that I received for self, and then Spirit said to share it with you because some of you are probably feeling or experiencing the same thing. So I'm going to give you a little backstory. So last week, Wednesday Live and Power Hour, one of my brothers in light, Javi, who actually also happens to be one of the readers, the psychic mediums on the Ashworth Scott Life Sculpting team, he watched the Wednesday Live and he reached out and he said, "How are you feeling? You don't look like yourself." And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not really feeling that great. If you like to really be truthful about my feelings of how I'm feeling physically, I don't feel too hot. And I made a joke. I said, well, my hair is darker, so maybe that's why I don't look like myself. And so he literally said, Spirit said, go to the emergency room. It's your blood pressure. Now, I hadn't shared with my brother that I was having some elevated blood pressure and, things weren't completely in whack. And so when he said that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go. Now, I'm someone that doesn't prefer Western medicine. My blood pressure has been high probably for a little over 3 years, and I was doing natural remedies, to bring it down, and it was lowering, but it still wasn't quite as low as it's called to be, right? So I looked online. I was going to get some of the Dr. Sebi blood pressure tea, and it was sold out. And so Spirit said, take the medication, you'll be fine. And so I did. So I was visiting family in the Bay Area the week of last week during Wednesday Live and Power Hour. That was my first day back home. So the day that I arrived back home on Tuesday, I was in the Uber and I just felt so nauseous, like so incredibly nauseous. And I'm like, I don't deal with motion sickness. I don't get car sick. Like, what is this? I just felt so horrible. So I rolled the window down and I was pushing through, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I always have that mentality, this too shall pass, right? And it's something like early on in life, when things physically are bothering me, I have a tendency to just push through and I don't really allow myself to feel it, right? So as a result, I go to the emergency room and I was there and they do my blood pressure and it's 215 over 99. Now, this is extremely high, which makes sense why when I asked Javi, well, check in and ask Spirit, can I just go tomorrow? Spirit said, no, it's a matter of life and death. I truly believe the point was Spirit was having me go so I could get more medication because I ran out the day before I left California to come back to Washington State. And so, I had just been getting the message to rest. And while I was in the emergency room, one of my sisters in light, Dinelle, actually came and she sat with me. And so I kind of joked with her and I said, I literally just covered how when we're ascending to the next phase, how Spirit will sometimes put us in positions physically where we're kind of forced into resting and relaxing. Now, of course, there's never a forcing because we don't have to take heed, but when we are in alignment with doing what's best for us, we will take heed, right? And so anyways, this whole weekend I laid and I rested. I didn't even log into social media on one of the days. And, I log in because I respond to all of your comments. I answer your questions and I interact with you all over in the United Light Beings Awakening group and over in my mentorship group, REM. So literally, I just felt out of it, weak, headache, just not feeling like myself. Well, today, there was no room for that resting because I have physical therapy, and I did ask my therapist if we could just focus on the muscle conditioning where she's stretching and rubbing and, doing all of that, not any of the strenuous stuff, because I could literally feel myself winded and just not feeling well when I walked from my car into physical therapy. And then right now I'm leaving an MRI that I had done today. So long story short, my mom was like, you're right. Like, you sound better. And I said, well, Mom, it's because, although I'm still not feeling the greatest, I've just kind of put myself in that mode of like pushing and going, right? So the reason I'm getting on is because this weekend I was able to catch up on some shows I hadn't watched. And, of course, I did a lot more meditating. I did a sacred bath. But one of the shows I was watching, T.I. and Tiny Family Hustle, and Monica had said something that really hit home for me. She said, she doesn't pause because when you pause, you get stuck. And oh my goodness, in that moment, I saw a version of me. Now, when she said this, Monica was tearing up because I don't know how on top of, entertainment stuff you're on, but she's currently experiencing a divorce. Monica's a singer. She's been out since she was a teenager. And her dad, I believe, I don't know if it's her dad or her grandfather, but someone close to her and her family has cancer, and all these things are happening. Her help, which is her parents, they're not available to help her like they were. And so when she said that, I thought about myself. How many of us don't allow ourselves to pause because we fear getting stuck? Now, for me, I've worked through a lot of fears. I've worked through feeling fear over certain things in life, whether it's emotional, mental, spiritual, or even physical fears. However, it's now a habit for me to do that. Like, it's not healthy to push past what I'm feeling with the only thought of this too shall pass. Now, yes, having that thought of this too shall pass is very important, but sometimes it's important also to have that belief, but still pause long enough to be in touch with what we're feeling, whether it is an emotional feeling, so we can feel it and heal it, whether it is a mental feeling, so that we can acknowledge it, understand it, and heal it, whether it's a physical feeling. If I had continued to just ignore what I was feeling, and if spirit hadn't worked through Javi, there's no telling where I'd be today, whether I'd be in spirit form at this point or still in this human skin suit, right? So what spirit pointed out to me is it's time to release those old behaviors, those old ways of being, and it's time to take a minute to pause. And, when we talk about trusting in the divine is so important. But you know what? We get to also trust in ourselves. I know there is nothing that's going to stop me now. I've got way too much work to do. So even if I give myself permission to pause long enough to make sure that I'm okay, I'm never going to get stuck. It's just not who I am anymore. So Spirit told me, yeah, Nikila, it's time for you to stop just pushing through. It's time. And I was led to share that with you. Stop just pushing through. Sometimes a pause is necessary. Sometimes it's necessary, right? Now, on top of that, Jillian also was receiving hits on me and messages about me. And literally, she said, your body's in a crisis right now. You're being prompted to rest and you're elevating to the next level. You're getting to the next level. So I'm going to do exactly what Spirit is pushing me to do, exactly what Spirit is nudging me to do. And from now on, I'm not going to put on that cape and think I'm Supergirl with a combination of Wonder Woman, Batman, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Smurfette. You know what I mean? Like, I am literally going to stop and feel. It's important. So I encourage you to do the same. Well, I'm not going to keep you, but I would like to say happy day, whatever the day is that you're watching this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so and turn your notifications on, ding that bell so you don't miss a thing. And if this resonated with you on any level, if you can relate to what I just shared, give it a thumbs up and share it with your community, okay? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for tuning in, and I leave you with peace, love, bliss, and abundance. I'll talk to you soon.